Alright, here is the context for the Great Reform Act of 1832. Y'all ready? Let's go. First thing I want to get clear. France's involvement in the British Reformation Act was not that big. It's a communist conception that the American Revolution happened and that influenced the French. And then the British Parliament shat themselves and thought, oh no, I gotta reform this bad boy. No. Before the French Revolution, there was plenty of unrest. Enough to go around the whole country twice. What the French Revolution did do, however, is increase the radical thought. This here is the book by Thomas Paine. T-Paine for short. T-Paine wrote this after Edmund Burke criticized the French Revolution. What you need to know is that the English Enlightenment thought was very different to the Enlightenment throughout the rest of Europe. The British political structure was very much an absolutist one. The power was very centralized and distributed amongst the top few. And of course, the British intellectuals like Burke wanted to disagree with France. They were the enemy. Just 50 years ago, they fought them in the 7 Years' War. Regardless, the French Revolution still influenced British radicals. This included Thomas Hardy. Well, both Paine and Thomas Hardy wanted to take the power away from the elite rich, so I guess that's right. Anyway, Thomas Hardy was the leader of the largest corresponding society, the London Corresponding Society. And this here is a quote by Mary Davis, who wrote, "What makes the corresponding society so important, aside from the fear which they engendered in the ruling class, is the fact that they were truly independent organizations, formed by and for working people." Now, this is not the working class, this is the working people. The working people was the increasing middle class, the artisans, the craftsmen, the traders, the manufacturers. These men who would work their way up to be more than their ancestors, but they were still treated less than the landed aristocratic class. They still had no parliamentary voice and no franchise. Okay, so we know that the French Revolution did little to actually create the reform that happened in 1832. So why did that reform occur? Well, I mentioned that there was unrest already for years prior. This was due to the broken system of voting in place currently. The rotten and pocket boroughs were examples of how the voices of the working people were overlooked for that of the landed elite. This cartoon here shows the reformers trying to take that system down while the Tories try to push it back to maintain it. Okay, so now you may think, geez, I really think that if the French Revolution didn't happen, those radicals wouldn't be inspired and the reforms wouldn't happen. Well, you're wrong, buckaroo. Because, buckaroo, what the fuck? Anyways, directly after the French Revolution, Britain went to war against France for 20 years. This made all those corresponding societies look like jabronis, because anything they did, even that even smelled like the French Revolution, was deemed treason. And because of that, Britain remained what essentially was Karl Marx's worst nightmare. After the war, though, things got worse. The post-war recession led to unemployment and savage wage cuts in many industries. Food prices were high and tea and sugar were being taxed. That's a pretty horrible thing considering this is Britain we're talking about here. It's like if someone tried to tax water. Oh wait, someone did. I mean, look at this guy. He looks like a villain from an anime. Regardless, these taxes and unemployment issues created who we can call intelligent radicals. These are individuals like Baudet, Cobbett, Hunt, and Cartwright. They wrote against their government and created a golden age of political character and satire writing. And it wasn't just the intellectuals. There were, of course, I guess, the less intelligent radicals who took to the streets and fields and marched demanding economic and political reform. And how did the government respond? Well, they started off by suspending habeas corpus, which meant that they could arrest whoever they wanted. They also used agent provocateurs to create a false image of the protesters. They also taxed political pamphlets, which meant that the poorer readers couldn't access them. This was dubbed a tax on knowledge. And they also did what's been historically dubbed as the gagging act, which is a lot less kinky than it sounds. That joke just cost me my monetization, but it's worth it. Now, I could go into details on this, but that is something I'll discuss in a different videos. probably 2 years from now. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something from this, and if you guys want more information on the topic, I got the majority of it from this book by Mary Davis. Most of the information on pre-Reformation Britain is in the second chapter. See you guys in the next one.